You have learned that a Venn diagram is a tool to help us to visualize the relationship between sets. It can also be an important tool in understanding surveys. If you read a survey in an article online, or you hear a report about demographics or statistics where different categories are included, then using a Venn diagram to organize that information can help us to correctly interpret that information. In section 2.5, we will study survey problems. This will include both 2-circle and 3-circle survey problems. And we're going to start with the easier case, which is the 2-circle survey problem. By 2 circles, I mean 2 sets on the Venn diagram. To complete a Venn diagram for a survey problem, find the value in the innermost region first. As we did in the previous section, we have to identify elements that belong to the intersection of the circles, and then we fill out the Venn diagram moving outward from the center. In a survey problem, this is going to require some calculations. Generally, we will subtract working outwards from the center. That is, we'll determine how many elements belong to the intersection, and we'll subtract that from the total number of elements in that set to fill out outermost regions. Example 1. 90 outdoorsmen were asked if they regularly mountain bike or hike. The survey results are shown on the Venn diagram below. So on the Venn diagram, you can see that we're dealing with 2 sets. The set of people who enjoy mountain biking and those that enjoy kayaking. The purpose of this problem is just to make sure that we can correctly interpret the meaning of each individual region. Part A says, how many people only mountain bike? So we're considering the people within the mountain biking circle, but we're looking for those people who only mountain bike but do not kayak. So we're looking for the people that are in the mountain biking circle but outside the kayaking circle. According to the Venn diagram, this is 32 people. The next one is very similar. How many people only kayak? So we're looking for the people in the kayaking circle that are outside the mountain biking circle. And in this case, that would be 29. Notice the values that we are giving here are cardinal numbers. Individual people are not listed, so we're not looking at the individual elements of the set. We're just recognizing the cardinal numbers. Now, the next 2 questions are really important, and they have a couple of subtle differences. Example C says, how many people mountain bike and kayak? That word "and" is very important, and we've learned that it's associated with the intersection of 2 sets. And communicates intersection. So we're looking on the Venn diagram for the overlap of the mountain biking and kayaking circle. We're looking for the intersection of those 2 circles. So the people in that region, there's 20 of them, both mountain bike and kayak. Example D is subtly different. It says how many people mountain bike or kayak. That word, you have to look for it. There's a big difference between and or. Or is associated with the union. So we want to take all of the people that mountain bike or kayak or do both sports. We're looking for the cardinal number of the union of those 2 sets. So we're going to count the 32 that mountain bike only, the 20 that do both, and the 29 that only kayak. So we'll add those together, 32 plus 20 plus 29. I'm going to grab my calculator here and total those values. 32 plus 20 plus 29 gives us a total of 81 people. So read very carefully and critically and be sensitive to the words and or. Again, and communicates intersection, the overlap between the 2 circles. Union represents everything in both circles together. The final question is, how many people do neither of these 2 sports? So we're looking for the cardinal number of the people that are outside both circles, and in this case, that would be 9. Once you're fairly comfortable with interpreting the regions of the Venn diagram, then we're ready to work a survey problem. Example 2. In a survey of 100 people, 67 indicated that they drank caffeinated coffee, 50 said that they drank decaffeinated coffee, and 32 said that they drank both types of coffee. Complete the Venn diagram and answer the questions. So we have 2 categories here, the caffeinated folks and the decaffeinated folks, right? Let's suppose that A is the group of people that drink caffeinated coffee. And I'm just going to write caffeine for group A, and we'll say group B is the decaf folks. To correctly fill out the cardinal numbers of the regions, remember we're going to work in the innermost set and work our way out from there. So we need to figure out how many people are in the intersection. That is, how many people drink both caffeinated and decaffeinated. I'm in that category. I start out caffeinated and then I progress to decaffeinated. So 32 said that they drank both types of coffee. That means we need a total of 32 represented here in the intersection. Now we're going to work our way out. Let's look at this number. 67 indicated that they drank caffeinated coffee. So in our caffeine circle, we want to have a total of 67. Keep in mind, 32 are already accounted for right here. So we're going to subtract the total number of that group, which is 67, minus the 32 that are already accounted for in the intersection, and that leaves 35 people for this spot right here. So the sum of those two numbers is going to give us 67, but we know that they've been divided into those that drink caffeinated only and those that drink both types of coffee. Next, it says 50 said that they drank decaf. So now I'm looking at the decaf circle, and we know we need a total of 50 people there. But again, 32 are already accounted for in the intersection. So I'm going to take the total number for that circle minus the 32 that are already accounted for in the intersection, and that leaves 18 for this region only. The sum of 32 and 18 gives me a total of 50 for those that said they drank decaf. Now we're not quite done. You always want to double check to see if there's any values that are outside both circles. So we're going to go back to this number right here. We surveyed a total of 100 people. Now notice on our Venn diagram, we have 35 plus 32 plus 18 of those accounted for. That's only 85, and there's a total of 100 people that need to be represented on this diagram. So the leftovers are those that drink neither types of coffee. So I'm going to subtract 85 from the total of 100, and that's the number that goes out here. Once we have our Venn diagram properly filled out, then the questions are pretty easy to answer. How many people drink only caffeinated coffee? So we're looking for those in the caffeine circle but are outside the decaffeinated circle, and that of course is this number 35. How many people drink only decaf? Well, those would be in the decaf circle but outside the caffeine circle. That is 18. And finally, how many people drink no coffee at all? Those are those that are outside the two circles, which we discovered to be 15. So a Venn diagram is a great tool that helps you to organize information, especially from a survey.